Most parents don't think about orientation until after something goes wrong, after a hard conversation, after words come out sharper than intended, after that familiar feeling of, I wish I had handled that differently. That's understandable. We're taught to respond to problems once they're visible, but orientation was never meant to live only in the aftermath. This week, we're shifting the focus to orientation upstream, not as something you reach for after things fall apart, but as something that quietly supports you before they do. Parents often associate steadiness with recovery. We steady ourselves after reaction. We regulate after the escalation. We reflect once the damage is already felt. That's because parenting culture rewards responsiveness. It tells us that being a good parent means stepping in quickly, saying the right thing, and helping immediately. So orientation gets framed as damage control. But that framing misses something important. Orientation isn't a crisis response. It's a way of arriving in moments. Orientation begins before the conversation gets heavy, before the pressure has a name, before you feel pulled to explain, rescue, or take over. It lives in how you show up to an interaction, in the tone you bring, in whether you're located inside yourself or already leaning forward. This isn't about watching for warning signs. It's not about staying on guard. It's about being with yourself early enough that you don't disappear once things get complicated. Orientation begins before anything falls apart, not because you're predicting collapse, but because you're choosing presence. Most parents don't skip orientation on purpose. They skip it because caring feels active, because waiting can feel like neglect, because staying still can feel like you're doing nothing, especially when your young adult is struggling. In those moments, helping can feel like a moral obligation. Not helping can feel irresponsible. So parents move quickly, they jump in, they try to hold things together, and orientation gets bypassed, not out of control, but out of love. This isn't a flaw, it's a learned reflex. When orientation comes first, something subtle shifts. Responses get simpler. Explanations get shorter. The need to fix softens. Nothing dramatic happens. The situation doesn't magically resolve, but you stay present. You don't lose yourself in the moment. You don't overfunction. You don't carry more than what's yours. Orientation doesn't change outcomes. It changes how much of you gets lost along the way. And over time, that steadiness becomes something your young adult can feel. Last week, we talked about orientation as a return, coming back to yourself after a hard moment. This week is different. This week is about recognizing that orientation doesn't wait for breakdown. It doesn't belong only in repair. It belongs in the moments before things escalate, before momentum builds, before you step in automatically. Orientation isn't something you reach for after things fall apart. It's a skill you use before momentum takes over.